a Land Rover has happened in between some of these videos, so I do apologise if it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Right, fuel filter that I cannot get sealed properly. I've just swapped those over with some Doughty washers rather than copper. I mean, the banjos look absolutely fine. I'll try that. And then we're just going to stick some oil in the T5 box, which looks like fun. So we have, that's your drain, and then your fill plug is up there. Guess who's thinking I probably should have filled that before I put it in? Clever man. Stupid man. Right. It's Dexron 3 that goes in there. So, and just a 3/8 ratchet head to undo them. I don't think there's anything in it. Famous last words. It does drip. Well, it's a good thing there's nothing in it, isn't there? Ugh, just drop the plug. Now, you might all remember back to when I got this box. This is a actually rebuilt one from Dave Ogden in Boreham Wood. So we should have no problems there, but let's get some fluid in it anyway. It's standard ATF that goes in here, Dexron 3. And the only way I could manage to get anything up into the filler plug was to wedge a little bit of fuel pipe in there and then use one of those horrible squelchy pumps that make horrible noises. Level is done simply like any diff or manual box of just fill it until it all starts to pour out the fill hole. And with that, I think we're done underneath, so let's go to electrical corner. I want to make a diagnostic cable so we can talk to it and see how it works, or if it works. But it's not OBD2, it's a funny 3-pin. What it is the other side of that. And it's a red, white, green, white and black and white cable. It's just next to your ECU by where your feet go, like everything else in this car. You can buy the male side from MotorClan. It's an IT. They're actually ITT connectors. I'm sorry, I kept calling them Molex, didn't I? But ITT in this case. I've gone through the manual. Excuse me. And you've got pins 1, 2, 3, which is red, white, green, white, black, white on the car side. They want to go to a serial cable, and you want to go to serial cable ports 3, 2 and 5. So port 1 from the car, red, white, goes to port 3 on the serial cable. Port 2 on the car, green, white, goes to port 2 on the serial cable. And then port 3 on the car goes to port 5 on the serial cable. Serial cables are numbered in the top. I did look up a load of colour ranges, but they don't seem to match this serial cable. Don't know why. I have no idea. So, I'm just going to bell them out. And the way I do that on small stuff is basically get a Wago, put your multimeter in it. Oh, excuse me. I just had a Subway. It's very nice. Put that in there, and then we're going to go, no, actually, we should probably make sure it works first, shouldn't we? No. So first of all we want to find pin 2. So pin 2 is looking like orange. Always go around the lot of them so you know you haven't got any shorts. So there we go, pin 2 looks like orange. They're a horrible set of colours. I mean, it might equally be brown, but then that looks a bit more brown. Anyway, that's how I bell out little things. So I'm going to bell these out, all 9. Then we're going to crimp those to it. Put that together, and then we're going to see if we can get the MBE tool to work. So come with me on that journey next. Pin 3, green. Pin 2, orange. Pin 5, black. So we're going to put those to our plug. I'm going to crimp those to the plug, we'll go from there. You'll also need, some laptops do have a serial port. My Toughbook does weirdly, that one doesn't. So you need a serial to USB. This cable is very, very small. As you may see, look, it's a very small cable. So to get it into these, I found an ingenious way. I've got my magic... Have you ever seen anything cooler than that? Crimpy things. And I've just been putting... They're self-adjusting, how clever is that? Bootlace crimps. Oh, that one hasn't worked at all, has it? So what I've been doing is... yeah, right. I put it in there, that gives it a bit more body, and then I've crimped this really hard with the electrical terminal crimpy pliers, and it gives it a much better surface to squash down on than just that tiny little cable. And I don't... Well, you could, I suppose, solder them into the connectors, but my soldering iron has broken and disappeared. But equally, I think this works really well. Well, we'll soon see when it all falls out, won't we? It's only for the... It's not just going on the car anyway, is it? Right, so we have connected our USB watchuma thingy in. Whenever you're doing something like this, just start off, if you already know this, you know, while you're watching. But if you don't know this, best thing to do whenever you connect something like that in, connect and disconnect it. Every time you plug a device into your laptop will assign it a COM port. There you go. Some laptops, when you've had a huge amount of devices plugged in, do actually run out of COM ports, and then you won't communicate with anything. So we know the adapter's working because we have on here serial port COM3. You really have to do much else with it. Let's just... Need to go check if the fuel's leaking out as well, but let's just see if MBE tool will connect. It can see COM3, and there we go. Well, that was incredibly easy, wasn't it? You can really tell my surprise there, can't you? Because it was as simple as the thing I just did. 3 cables, buy the plug for a few quid from MotorClan, and there you are. The software's also free, and so is the manual. All you have to go to is this website here, the brilliant TVR Tuscan info, where you can download MBE tool and the diagnostic manual and everything, and it'll tell you how to use it. It's incredibly straightforward. It's just a few little buttons on how to reset stuff, your throttle centers, all of that. But it gives you all the information you need. As we can see on mine, I've got barometric pressure sensor fault. Sorry about the filming, by the way. That laptop went nuts when I tried to put screen recorder on it. Basically, I'm missing the map sensor. And the map sensor actually hides under the dashboard. Obviously, right? That's the way you put a map sensor, isn't it? So that's the only fault there. This system will become much more useful later on once we get it all running. So now we need to just, you know, get all those little things done so we can start to think about maybe, possibly firing this up. First one, coolant. Now, the Tuscan's a difficult one to bleed, like a lot of sports cars, because what you need is a high point for all the air to go to. And the coolant pot is not very high, it's about level with the engine. So we need to artificially raise that point to get all the air out a lot easier. You could also use one of those cool vacuum filling things, but I haven't got one. This little system is just a cheapo one off Amazon. The adapters aren't quite right for that pot, but actually it works fine. There's no pressure in the system when this is in because it's open, obviously. Then you can see the other 2 little pots right in front of our coolant pot. The big one is engine oil, then there is power steering fluid, which we just needed to top up as well after we just span it over with my dear lady wife last time. This just takes Dextron 2, I believe. So for coolant, I've gone for old Crafty Hen. I was finding oak-aged antifreeze. That really is what you want. Because I use it in all the cars. The Preston 10-year life, and it will mix with anything. Can't go wrong, can you? And Tesco sell it. Tesco sell it for the cheapest. You can get 4 litres for about 10 quid. good news and bad news. The leak was nothing, it was just a loose hose clip. Bad news is I'm running out of things to procrastinate with rather than just trying to start it. Well, here we go. Let's get MBE up. What was that? It sounded like something hitting something. What was that hitting? You probably heard it better than me. Don't see any fuel. That sounded like something external rattling, didn't it? Oh. Okay, let's take that off. It's in a bit of paint, the bloody stuck. Okay, right. I already ran the oil pressure up, by the way. I mean, it could have sounded worse. We have to just remember I haven't balanced the throttle bodies yet. But, well, oil pressure's good. EFI fault, I don't know if that's to do with barometric. Have a look at a tappet. I mean, I guess it could be worse. Nothing sounds grumbly from underneath, and I have to check my fuel again. Only other when. It definitely sounds like it sounds a bit like I've got a tappet thing wrong there, doesn't it? So we might just pop the cam cover off. I think it was one in the middle. Remember, this hasn't run in a long time, so really we just want to leave it running, but I want to investigate that tappet noise first, and then I want to have a good look at the fuel system. Now that's run at a higher pressure continuously for a bit. It drank its water, that's good. Oh. I mean, it's got to pump it out. It probably has to pump it all up through the heater box, I should imagine. So let's check for leaks, and then we'll pop the cam cover off. Maybe I just got one of those tappets wrong. Can't see any leak. We might have a little drip from the oil pressure sensor. Main one I was worried about. I don't know why. It's just such a pain trying to seal onto the fuel filter. I don't know, just because it's just a Fram filter, isn't it? Where they don't have a very good face, but basically we just wouldn't seal with copper washers. I had to use proper hydraulic Doughty washers. We do have a leak from power steering pump, power steering rack. So the that one looks alright. Front one looks alright. Middle one I need to do. So that's fine. It might just need nipping up. That's not a problem. So we'll get it back down and whip the cam cover off. Also, a bigger thing to see, we know we had really good oil pressure, but it'd be nice to see if they're covered in oil, wouldn't it? Okay. I don't know if I'm happy or sad. I don't know. The other thing I need to look up is what I wonder if there's a base setting. So when you do for like the Rover V8, there is actually a feeler gauge amount for the throttle blade to be open as standard, which obviously I know you don't balance them, there's only one, but I'll look that up. I didn't really think about that, so I mean I did it by eye. They're all fairly similar, but they're not going to be very similar, are they? Or I just stick the synchrometer on them, I guess, while it's running. Okay, that still feels about right. The world certainly hasn't ended anywhere, so that's good. And we're very, very oily, so that's even better. Ooh. First, we just want to make sure everything's still in place. Yes. Well, everything I can see. Can I go to the other side and see? I don't know why, but my original idea was, what if a spacer shim had jumped out? That doesn't seem to be the case. So I think the safest thing to do, because it doesn't take very long, I'm just going to zip through with the feeler gauge again. Don't worry, I won't bore you all to death, because if you want to know how to do the tappets on the Speed 6, apparently don't so apparently don't listen to me, because I didn't do it very well. That might not be the issue, it might be something else. It could be a valve banging around inside its guide, couldn't it? You know, which is head off and then off to someone. But let's see. I mean, they didn't. I tried to sort of compress them and feel them, and they felt okay. But this was the risk, if you remember. If you go back to the earlier videos, I didn't want to strip the whole thing down if I didn't need it. So we just tried our luck. And now it's either going to come badly, or come good, isn't it? So I'm going to redo the tappet adjustment. If we find something out, that's ace. If not, it's not ace, but there we go. Something I've noticed, there's a couple of guides from the TVR Car Club, and then there's the what's his face thingy manual, Cigaris manual, and they all say the same thing apart from one. So I'm going to take it they're all right. So it's just where you take the measurement. But everyone else mentioned doing it between the follower and the shim, like that. That's nice. And that's nice. Apart from the one, which is about redoing the cylinder head in situ, that says do it between the lobe and the follower, and you do get different readings. Ever so slightly, but you do. So 6 to 8 thou for the inlet, 10 to 12 thou for the exhaust. Put it between the shim and the follower, And if it's wrong, it's easy. All you've got to do is push. You can either push the follower out of the way, because they just sort of move across on that spring. Magnetic pickup tool, pull the shim out and put a new one in. Quite straightforward, really. And I did do more in detail in an earlier video, which I will try to link, but I don't really know how to do that. But let's say it's the one that has an engine in it. No smoking gun. So I think what we'll do in the morning, because then I can have a think about it, and that's another big tip I can give to anyone. Have a curry and a beer about it. Words of wisdom from Junkyard Digs. Have a beer about it. Then I think we're going to run it with the cover off, only briefly. Two reasons. One, we might see something, we might see or hear something better. If we suddenly don't, it could be that. I don't think it's that. Basically, when the chain isn't 100% perfect, well, when it's loose, that whacks into the cam cover. Now, I haven't done the final adjustment yet, so that might be a reason. So the final adjustment, which is terrifying, is you do it warm. You know what that means, don't you? You do it with the engine running, apparently, according to the manual. I will check the procedure again, but I'm sure that's what it said. So you loosen off, can't remember, it's either the main, I think it's the main adjuster down there, and you just tighten it hand tight with the engine running. So yeah, they're the last two. I'm sure we can run it with the cover off, because just push the plug leads down into those. We'll do it in the morning, because it's always worth just having a think, because something may come to me over the course of a jalfrezi and a tin of Vacation Brewery, that one that's hazy that I can't remember the name of. Cool. 3 internet seconds, I suppose. There's no point doing the internet tricks. I'm going to have to move the camera and it won't look right. Here's the plan. They're all out of the way of the moving stuff. I'm just going to run it very briefly, because then we'll know, one, we'll probably hear where it's coming from, and we'll know whether it's that. No, I don't think that's the case. So if you could just listen for me. We need to turn it off before the microfiber catches fire. Sexy. Oil pump's good, isn't it? How does the cylinder head fail with that much lubrication? Well, I might just pop it back on. By the way, you can't do that. I reckon that could be, actually. Yeah. You can't do that until the engine's warm. Which is why I haven't. Otherwise I would just do it. We've had it running, we had some tap-in noises. I've only really had it running for short amounts of time. But there are some jobs we need to do before we can actually say, does it work or does it not? Two main ones. One, throttle body balancing. At the moment, there's who knows how much air is going through each one. Two, just nip up the timing chain, which is done through mainly the top adjuster there, I believe. Once it's warm, just undo the lock nut and turn it anti-clockwise and just nip the chain up. We have to do that warm, so we may as well do the throttle bodies first, because it being slightly used just means it'll tap the timing cover. The other thing I've got to fit, map sensor. It's a voxel part or intermotor that. And that goes inside the car, obviously. There's no point in fitting it now because we have to take the airbox off, and this plumbs into the airbox because it's manifold air pressure. So, first job, take that off, then get the tools we need, which is a small Allen key and a spanner. Laptop's loading up because we need the software that we looked at in the last episode as well. I'm assuming it doesn't need any of those sensors to actually run. We just need it to continue running. We need it to not stall is really the idea. As long as it continues running and drawing air, we can balance it. So there's a whole procedure from the Graham Varley manual for this. And the only tool you actually need, apart from some spanners and such, is one of these. This is sucking, not blowing. This is a synchrometer, and it's used to balance throttle bodies. Basically, that seals up. Oh. I think I might need a different one. Oh, well, I thought this was the right one. Bollocks. We'll give you the principle, then I'll see if I can work something out. Basically, that will seal up to that. I mean, it is the right size without the... I'll work it out. But basically, that should seal up to the air intake bit. And then that measures the amount of airflow coming through it in what are we, kilograms per hour. I do air balancing for a living, or working on air equipment for a living, and we use so many different bloody units, it's crazy. For these though, we're looking at between 5 and 7 per throttle body, but now even more than I need to work out a way of actually sealing that to that. Otherwise, we can't do anything. Okay, we're back. Look at that. I would have liked to have done it on the lathe, but the size of the former, I had to push into it. Piece of pipe I had wouldn't go in the lathe. But now that seals nicely to there. It's going to be noisy once we start it, so we'll go over the general idea. Now, essentially, number 3 is your master, counting from the front back. Because that has your base idle adjustment on it as well at the front. You see? Tell you what, I'll bring you closer. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Sesame Street here for TVRs. Now that is for your idle, 750 to 850 RPM. That is that are your adjustment points for each throttle body. Start with number 1, get that to between 5 and 7. Put 7 there, get that between 5 and 7, and then adjust backwards. Continuously looking at all 3 with the meter until they all match. That between 5 and 7 isn't exact because it's more important that they match. Then same, but on this bank. So that's bank 1, bank 2. Now this one again, first one, and then that one, because as you can see, that's how they attach to each other. And that is the general idea. And then once that's done, we want to reset adaptives and the throttle position sensors through the software. Now the software, where do we want it? Adjust the idle to 950 RPM using your front Allen stop there, and then reset everything. So the readings for throttle bodies want to be 15 to 16%. And there we are. We should probably make sure it starts first, shouldn't we? We could start, literally. Okay, so this is quite a long, finicky process, because every time you adjust one, you basically, the one next to it tends to move a little bit, which is why you treat it as bank 1, bank 2, and then you basically dive back and forth. The process I got to in the end, and I'm nearly there, is we start at our master, which is number 3. We adjust the idle till we get to 850 to 950 RPM, and then read that, which was bang between 5 and 7. I think it's about 6.5 kilograms per hour, and then I went along and did the others. Now, I also did the first timing chain adjustment, and we're still getting that tapping. But interestingly, it only appears when the revs come up. At idle, you can't hear it at all. So you're basically live with me now. This is as far as I've got with the Tuscan. If anyone's heard a noise similar to that before, I'd really appreciate some advice. My guess is that it's valve guide wear, probably on cylinder 3 or 4. You can see me at some point in the background with a stethoscope / screwdriver, trying to have a listen. And I do think it's coming from the middle of the engine rather than the front. Though I am just going to test the tension again. I'll just check the lower timing chain tension is correct still, because that's the same sort of thing. Basically, you tighten it just ever so tight, go back one hole, and then do up the lock nut. So here's a little noise sample for you. I got the balancing quite well, good, but as you all probably heard, there is a definite pronounced ticking, donking, hitting above, well, especially when it revs up. It's not, we know it's not a valve clearance. So what I think it is probably valve guides. Which sort of checked, but that was one of the things we were trying, and go back to the original videos, is to see, we want to see how it ran before we obviously spent thousands on getting the head done, or checked. Which at the moment seems like it probably needs. Which is not the end of the world. It's would be nice if it was alright, wouldn't it? But I can't think what else that noise could be. If you have any ideas on what that noise could be, please feel free to drop a comment down there. It starts well, runs well, sounds fine. Bottom end sounds fine, that's really good. Well, no, we sort of knew that was fine anyway, didn't we? You definitely need to have the extended pot. That thing. Because the amount of air that was coming out then, I guess once the stat opens, was a lot. Okay. I've had to stop because basically I haven't got the throttle cable connected because I bought the wrong one, and I'm waiting for the new one. Technically age-wise it should have the early throttle cable, but it has a different pedal box. That has a big return spring on it. And I think once I'd got the actual adjustment about right, you could almost watch the throttle bodies get pulled slightly open with the vacuum, and it kept, knocking my readings off unless I was holding the linkage down. So there's that, and I'd really, really be interested in what you guys think that noise is. I can only think it's valve guides, so please drop a comment below. So far, well, we're getting there. The engine generally sounds good. If it's just a head, it's just a head. It's not difficult to drop the engine back out, is it? You can do it apparently with the engine in the car. And I don't really understand how you check the blocks straight. But maybe we could do that. Maybe showing how to do that on video would be helpful to some people. Don't know. I'll read there's a guide in the Owners Club. Okay. Well, it's progress, isn't it? So, if you've enjoyed this video, please do all that stuff. Call to arms. Cool. Like, comment, subscribe. Do that sort of stuff. And we'll see how we do next time. Intriguing. Okay. Thank you. Bye-bye.